Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, I have the DJI Mini 4 Pro with me today, but that's not what we're talking about. Well, sort of. Freewell sent me their Mega Limited Edition 16-pack filter set for this drone. So this includes all the UV filters that you need, and in fact, I'm going to have to turn this thing around to read them to you because I couldn't memorize them all. But it includes the an ND16, ND32, ND64, ND128, ND256, ND512. So you got some really dark filters there. And ND1000, that ND1000, let me tell you, that is pretty cool for getting that super motion blur. And then it includes a mist filter, a UV filter, a light pollution filter, a circular polarizer, in other words, a polarizer without an ND filter attached to it. But then it's got several combination ND filter polarizers. So you've got a ND16 with polarizer, 32 with polarizer, 64 with polarizer, 128 with polarizer, and 256 with polarizer. So let me open this thing up and let's take a look at the case and just show you what they look like. Okay, I just wanted to give you a close-up look at the box. Let's get this guy open. Okay, got the box open here and pull it out. And one of the things that Freewell always does for you is they give you a good set of instructions with a QR code so that you can get everything online. I like that. And then I am sure in here we're going to find a number of things, including a cleaning cloth. Anyway, so it explains a lot of explanations here. A decal, learning the basics. This is great. Got a QR code to look for that. I knew there'd be a cleaning cloth in here and an installation guide. So let's take a look at what's in the box, in the case itself. So Freewell always gives us a nice jewel case, and it's covered in plastic here, and you get that nice feeling of peeling that plastic off. And then opening up the jewel case, let's look at what we got. Wow, and this is heavy duty. It's got a really heavy duty feel to it here. So just right off the bat, I can tell you these are just the regular ND filters, and I'll tilt it up here to see if you can see the labels there. But this is the mist filter, the UV filter, and the light pollution filter. And then these are the filters that include the circular polarizer. Oh, I should also mention that that filter right there is just a circular polarizer. It's a clear filter with a polarizer on it. Okay, so I folded up the back legs of the drone so I could stand it up here, and I'm going to have to reach around here to see if I can do this. But yeah, you just the cover that comes on the camera on the drone, I just twisted it to my left and off it comes just like that, and you can see the bare camera. And this, unlike the DJI Air 3, there's no lens in there at all. This is just a clear piece. So I guess what I'm saying is there's no lens protection with the stock cover here that comes on the drone. Okay, this is the ND64. Now, I don't know if I'll need it to be that dark tomorrow. It depends on how bright the sun is when I get out to fly. But let's go ahead and put it on there. So just like before, I just set it on there and it sets flat. Then I'm going to twist it the other direction to the right. And there it is. It's installed. It's that simple. Yeah, that easy. And I've got the ND64 on the drone. Okay, so we've got the ND64 installed on the Mini 4 Pro, and then the rest of the kit here. And what I wanted to point out is, set the drone down, the little cover that came from the factory with the drone. I put it on back in this case so I don't lose it. Right, it's cool that it fits in there, and you're not going to lose it. But man, I'm just telling you, this is a full kit. This is everything you're going to need. So there's only one thing left to do, and tomorrow I'm going to get it. It's supposed to be a bright sunny day, so I think this ND64 with the 1.7 aperture on this little drone, it should get me to that 180 rule. But anyway, let's get out tomorrow and we'll find out. Hey, okay, we're out in the field, and I have got the Freewell Mega I got to look at it, the Mega Limited Edition 16 pack. That's a great name for a set of filters. It's all the filters you need. And of course, I've got the DJI Mini 4 Pro. I already have the ND64 installed on there. We're going to put this thing up in the air. We're going to see if we can get to that 180 rule where your shutter speed is double what your frame rate is. So we'll shoot in 4K 30 and we'll try and get to a 60th of a second on our shutter speed. So yeah, nothing to do but put this guy in the air. Oh, I should say one more thing. The whole point of this, of course, is to look for that natural motion blur in our video. So that's what we're going to do. Let's quit messing around. Let's get this bird in the air. Okay, we have a screen recorder started and ready to go. Look at that. We've already got 22 satellites. So you can see in the bottom right-hand corner there, we're shooting at 4K 30. And I see the EV is, well, anyway, we're in full auto, so that's all right. And as soon as we get it up in the air, we'll go into manual mode and we'll see about getting to that 180 rule. But first, let's go through the safety menu like we always do. We're in bypass mode. Radar map is on. Optimal return to home. 30-meter return to home height is plenty for where we're at here. Yeah, 120-meter max altitude, that's max legal. It's not asking for any calibrations. Battery is perfect. So yeah, I think we're pretty much good to go here. Just in case you're wondering about the firmware package, there it is, 01.00.0200. Yeah, let's go ahead and start recording right now. And again, we've got 21 satellites, so I'd see no reason not to take off. Let's go ahead and do an auto takeoff here. We are right next to a picnic shelter, so it's going to be squawking at us right off the bat here. And yeah, there it is, and it's telling us we're in a altitude zone. Let's flip it around here, take a good look at it. And you can see that radar map is really squawking at us. So we're not going to bring it in close. It's remarkable to me with that ND64, and I'm sitting in the shade, how well it does. But let's just go ahead and let's just do our droney right now. We'll send that guy up and away, and we'll get down to kind of roughly the rule of thirds. And I'm going to grab some more altitude, and we're going to point it towards the sun. We got kind of the winter sun going on now, so it's definitely, as you can see though, it's a beautiful blue sky day, and you can see the reflection. This would have been a good time probably to use a PL filter, but I do not have a polarizer on right now. It's just the plain ND64. Okay, so let's throw it into manual mode here, Pro mode as they call it. And look, it's got our shutter speed up at 1/100th. So even with that ND64, and it might be a little bit dark, so let's click on that shutter speed. And again, you know, the f1.7 is the aperture. So let's click on there and let's go into that shutter and let's leave it in ISO 100 because I think we can. Let's see what happens if we get down to a 60th if it's too bright. And you know what? I don't think it is. And I'm gonna get the EV back to 0. And I think that looks pretty good. I'll see what you guys think. And again, with that big wide aperture, that 1.7 aperture, I think that's why you really got to go for a darker filter than what you otherwise might think. So what we're going to do here is the first thing to show, you know, the whole point of an ND filter, and I've talked about this many times in a lot of videos, is to show motion blur, right? You want to show natural looking motion blur in your video. So if you look off the edges, off to those trees over there, you should see some motion blur, and we'll enhance that a little bit by pointing the camera straight down in a little while. But again, with also with obstacle avoidance, you can fly lower than you normally would in a situation like this. So let's look as we go by the sculpture here. You can see if you can see some motion blur in that. But the first thing we're going to do is get out here and look at some traffic on this. There's a busy intersection right up here, and we'll look at that traffic, and you'll definitely see some motion blur out there. I really enjoy being able to fly at lower altitudes with the 360 obstacle avoidance. It just gives you such a better view. So we're going to kind of get out here right in the corner and kind of give you a look, and you'll be able to see as this light changes. And let's even drop some altitude a little bit, and we'll get more of that horizontal motion. So let me center up. You see those guys going through the turn lane right now. If we were shooting in a higher shutter speed, it's like a freeze frame, and you know, you get, and even I guess it's even maybe exacerbated a little bit by the 30 frames per second. You can almost get a stuttering look if you're in too high of a shutter speed. So yeah, here we get the other turn lane going. I'm kind of waiting to see the main street go by here, and we'll see how that looks. Yeah, okay, it's starting to turn now, so you'll see these cars. We can probably even move in a little closer, right? Give you even a better look. We can get right to the corner here, and yeah, you can see how the traffic moves through there, and you know, you get that the motion blur that we've been talking about. This is one of my favorite intersections for demonstrating this kind of stuff, because it is a fairly busy intersection, and you got turn lanes, you got cars going every direction. I've probably talked about it in the past. This is also a fairly dangerous intersection too. I've seen a lot of accidents here. It's weird how people, they'll just blow through a red light and boom, just asking for trouble. So one of the things is when you get the green light at an intersection like this, the first thing you want to do is look both ways, because you never know when somebody's going to blow through that. You see it particularly in the turn lanes. And then the other thing, like that car just did, turning in front, you see a lot of people taking chances when they're turning in front of traffic. I mean, obviously that guy there was nobody coming, but you see that quite often. So here we go. So we're going through another cycle yet, and as soon as these guys go, we'll call that good. Just kind of waiting for the ones across there. And I noticed my signal strength meter kind of went into the yellow a little bit, but this is pretty remarkable, this OcuSync 4, how good the signal strength is with this guy. So, okay, there, that light's starting to turn. As soon as those guys, we can see those guys going, we will move on here. So you've probably seen enough traffic moving through an intersection. Okay, let's go up and see if I can drop the camera down as we go. And then I'm going to go sideways here. Point this camera down, more down, and we are just going to go sideways to traffic. And again, let's see if we can demonstrate some motion blur here. This will take us right over across this field, and then right over the side of CarMax here. Yeah, we're going to be kind of over the top of CarMax here a little bit, but kind of give you an idea of, with those cars moving and moving sideways, kind of exacerbate that motion blur. Okay, we're at the edge there. Let's spin this guy around. And I got another idea here to show you motion blur, and kind of a good spot to do it. Well, actually, we kind of have a spot right here. So let's get over these trees. We're going to point the camera straight down, and we're going to get lower and kind of move forward here. And again, that's kind of the beauty of having 360 obstacle avoidance. You don't worry about hitting a tree as much as you would otherwise. I can have more confidence pointing that camera straight down. But you saw on those trees going over the top of them, you see that motion blur. So we're gonna go sideways here, and there's a whole row of trees right here. I walk here often, so I know this part of the park very well. We're right on the edge of the park. Let me see if I can get lined up here. I'm gonna drop some altitude, and let me pick the camera up so you see what I'm doing. See this row of trees? So we're gonna go over this row of trees with the camera pointed straight down and kind of give you an opportunity again to see that motion blur. It looks like we got some people sunning themselves in the park. I've never seen anybody in that corner of the park do that. So I am full stick forward in normal mode. We can probably even get a little lower, right over the top of these trees. See if I can stay pointed, get right over the top of them here, and we're gonna take it, we're gonna see that natural looking motion blur. I think it looks pretty darn good. Yeah, we'll just keep moving here. Got some more folks moved under the picnic shelter, so you'll probably hear a little background noise. Just want to let you know what that is. But anyway, you can see that, and I think it looks pretty darn, that's going to be a good demonstration of that motion blur. Okie dokie. Let's pick that camera up, and let's head back towards our position here and get back over the ponds. We'll do some other things. Let's get over the top of, let that guy go by. Let's get over the top of the sculpture over here. And one of my favorite tricks, as you know, on these sculptures is to do a straight up and turn and then do a reveal. And let's get down, we should be able to get down on top of this guy. I'm going to put it in cine mode so I can move a little slower. Bring it down, and I'm going to see if I can get right over the top of this guy. I had a little obstacle avoidance chime go off there, but we're up kind of away from everything. So let's get down lower, a little bit. Got some fishermen down there. See if I can center up on this thing. Yeah, there's a cast right there. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to do a spin and look up, and then we'll see if we can do a reveal. And again, I'm in cine mode, so this is fairly slow. Kind of interesting. Right over the top of the sculpture, you got the round part of the walkway there. Like I said, that's a good place for the fishermen to cast off of. And as soon as we get around the other side, we'll start picking up that camera and get you the big view of the park here. I'm speeding it up as I go here. And yeah, we're staying pretty well centered. Let's start picking up that camera. And then I sped it up a little more than I wanted to as I'm picking up the camera because it's all on the same hand. But there again, there we go. There's the park. That's a pretty cool move. I enjoy doing that. Okay, so back to this ND64 and motion blur here. Let's bring this guy down. Let's go back into normal mode. Let's bring this guy down, and we got this row of trees right here that we can go over the top of. And again, let's just go right down the center of, I call this Broadway. And we can drop even lower here. Let me pick up the camera so you get the big picture of what we're looking at. And then we're going to go straight over the top of this. And we'll see if maybe we can even drop down. Yeah, we can drop down some more here. But with that camera straight down, what I'm trying to do is give you that good look at the motion blur as those trees go by. And again, what I may not have done in the past, that statue that just went by, that's Julius Kleiner himself. What I may not have done in the past is do this because I'd be worried about smacking into a tree. And look at that, we're at the other sculpture here, and we're at the famous band shell. that my friend Mike Wright, as an architect, says, who the heck would make a band shell facing directly into the sun? But they did it, and hence you got those big tent structures in front of it. Okie dokie, let's bring it down, kind of give you a look at that. And again, remember, all this time we have an ND64 on this camera, and we're still with that big wide aperture. It's the only way you can slow down that shutter speed. So let's go full stick forward over these trees here, give you the big picture. You can see our home point there. I'm off to the left. Go over the top here, and you can see the blur in these trees as we go by them at speed. And yeah, okay, I think we've accomplished all we can, what we came here to do. Let's go ahead and just for the fun of it, let's do a return to home, and you know, we'll get to that augmented reality that we have now. Oh, we got some birds down here. Yeah, we can go take a look at those guys. Taking a little rest. Okie dokie, I'm going to pick up that camera just a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and do return to home on the app, and yeah, let's see if we can get a precision landing.
Return to home.
It took that command immediately, and you see the augmented reality, that green line pointing right to where our home point is, and you can see the path of the drone. Remember, we had our return to home height set at 30 meters. It's only going up to 18 meters here because it figures that's all it needs to do. And as soon as it gets over the top of us here, it will drop it'll drop the camera down. And I need to start my Action 2 camera so that we get that. And we're started. So it's in landing mode here. Let's see if we get a precision landing, and I'm going to step out there because again, we've got some other people around here. So is it seeing that landing pad? I don't think it's going to see it. So yeah, it picked up the camera. I'm going to pause here, and we're going to bring it back over the landing pad and drop it down. So there we go. That's got to be pretty darn close. So straight down on the stick right now.
Landing.
Put it in landing mode, and there we go. Let me get everything shut down, and we'll do a quick conclusion. Hey, I thought that was a pretty good test of the Freewell Mega Limited Edition 16-pack filter set for the DJI Mini 4 Pro. You know, we got out there, we showed you the traffic there on that intersection, so you could see the motion blur as we slowed the shutter speed down on the camera. And then again, flying kind of low over the trees, kind of gave you a good example of seeing that motion blur. Another interesting thing is that I had to go to the ND64 and adjust down to get that 180 rule. Now, the 180 rule where your shutter speed is twice your frame rate, you know, that's not carved in stone, but it's just a good rule of thumb that you can use to get there, is, you know, my understanding. I'm no camera expert. I'm just telling you what I've learned from watching other people's videos. But at any rate, I think that'll look pretty good. And I do want to thank Freewell for sending me this filter set. I appreciate that. And I will put an Amazon affiliate link down below for this set. It's available on Amazon right now. Other than that, I think we had a pretty good flight. This Mini 4 Pro, it's just always such a pleasure to fly. The augmented reality, we didn't get a precision landing, but on the other hand, I didn't take it straight up 7 meters like DJI wants you to do to get that precision landing either. So anyway, enough of that. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out, and if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I really appreciate you taking the time to look at this video. And of course, we'll see you on the next one. The DJI Mini 4 Pro and the Freewell Mega Limited Edition 16-pack filter set.